This week on Days of Our Mercedes, the Silver Arrows are coming off another podium result in Lewis Hamilton's home race in Silverstone, where Hamilton would get a third-place finish behind Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, so that there would be two British drivers on the podium. Sadly, no British sweep for the British faithful in Silverstone. Of course, the big story entering the Silverstone week was with Toto Wolff, as Toto Wolff would go on and apologize for what happened with Lewis in Austria. When Toto told Lewis to shut the fuck up and drive the car, and bruising the diva's ego and pissing off all the Lewis sexuals. Of course, Toto came out in the week and apologized to Lewis, apologizing for bruising the diva's ego, and not strutting his peacock feathers and stroking his dick at every turn. And Toto Wolff would go on and say that Mercedes owes Lewis Hamilton an 8th championship, not the FIA. Oh, so now the narrative has changed for Abu Dhabi 2021. Apparently, it's not the FIA and Michael Massey's fault anymore. It's now Toto Wolff and Mercedes' fault for not giving Lewis Hamilton a good enough car to beat Verstappen at the end. Oh, no, Toto. No, Toto. You can't change the narrative with the Lewis sexuals. Remember, the Lewis sexual says they swore so an oath that it was Michael Massey and the FIA that cost Hamilton the championship, not you. You can't take responsibility. You gotta blame someone else instead. You can't do that. So for Toto to take responsibility for that, and to be perfectly honest, no, you don't owe Lewis Hamilton fucking anything. You don't owe Lewis Hamilton a fucking thing. I don't know where the fuck most of you Lewis sexuals get this false sense of entitlement from. But if anything, this probably isn't gonna make the Lewis sexuals forgive Toto for bruising Lewis's ego in Austria. If anything, this is probably just gonna make the whole thing worse. Because if shit goes sideways again, they're probably gonna ask for Toto's head to be fired. Or they're going to ask for Lewis Hamilton to depart Mercedes. And the interesting thing was, there was some contract progression, but there hasn't been much talk about the contract yet. Like, has there been a new contract signed for Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes yet? Haven't heard any long-term extensions yet. But of course, with all that out of the way, we then turn our attention to Hungary, which has been a track that has been very favorable to Lewis Hamilton. And Lewis Hamilton would do something shocking, where Lewis Hamilton would get pole position from Max Verstappen by 0.003 of a second. And that would be enough for the Lewis sexuals to come out of hiding and stroke their chest saying Lewis Hamilton is back and how we were all fucking idiots for thinking it's washed. Seriously now? After winning 7 championships and 103 races, you guys are stroking your fucking chest, pumping your chest over a pole win? You guys are fucking pathetic. Wake me up let's see if that translates to the race. But as the attention now shifts toward the race in Hungary, Lewis Hamilton would get the pole start, but right off the start, Max Verstappen would go on and get the lead right at the start, and he would then get the lead off in turn 1 and give Lewis all the space in the world. Shocking thing is, Max Verstappen gave Lewis Hamilton more space in turn 1 than Denny Hamlin gave Kyle Larson space in turn 1 at Pocono. Little food for thought there. But Verstappen would go on and get the lead, and then right at the start, Lewis Hamilton would then fall all the way to 4th as both McLarens of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri passed Lewis Hamilton. Okay, McLaren fans, now you can officially say that you're back. I told you all the way off after Silverstone because that was only one podium. But now you're backing it up, so I'll start believing McLaren is back. But yeah, Lewis fans, what I tell you. This is why you don't count your chickens before they hatch, kids. With Lewis Hamilton dropping back to 4th. No, Lewis Hamilton ain't back. Sit the fuck back down. But of course, meanwhile, the only excitement really in the race throughout much of this was Sergio Perez climbing up through the field, as Sergio had another terrible qualifying performance. But of course, as we've seen in racing countless times before, it's never about where you start, it's about where you finish. As Sergio Perez ends up climbing through the field and would end up being near the podium by the end of the race. While Verstappen goes from start to finish, like effectively this entire race, it was Verstappen and Lando Norris 1-2 nearly the entire race. We did have a few interesting pit strategy calls, including a pissing match between Ferrari with Leclerc and Sainz, where one would pull a "hey, I'm faster than you," and there would be no team orders. So then the faster one had to do an undercut to get ahead. Well, Ferrari beat Ferrari. Name a better combination. And also this weekend was the return of Daniel Ricciardo, this time in AlphaTauri. After AlphaTauri decided to make some changes by firing Nick de Vries. Why the fuck were they firing Nick de Vries? He wasn't the problem with the team. Like, I understand he was a rookie and he would drastically underperform, but not even give him a full season. Like, when a rookie is gone that quickly, somebody fucked up the hiring process at AlphaTauri. Like, if anyone should have been replaced, it probably should have been Yuki Tsunoda, because Yuki has not performed well at fucking AlphaTauri. Like, if you're gonna replace anybody, replace Yuki, goddammit, he's done nothing. Like, I don't know why the fuck you fired Nick de Vries. He wasn't the problem at the team. Fucking F1 Elite is bullshit. Reigning supreme again. But meanwhile, throughout the field, though, Lewis Hamilton would then have to defend his fourth position against Mr. Sergio Perez. But Perez would eventually get past him, as Lewis could not defend against Perez. As Perez was once again trying to win Driver of the Day again. Well, this is what Sergio Perez has been relegated to in the second in the championship behind Verstappen. Because Verstappen has bitch-slapped the field so hard that the only thing Perez can now win in F1 now is Driver of the Day. Man, remember earlier in the year when Sergio Perez had Verstappen by the fucking balls? Man, my how much the bar has been dropped since then. Good fucking lord. But in the end, though, Perez would get past Oscar Piastri to get into the podium positions. But in the end, Perez could not run down Lando or Verstappen. As Verstappen, he goes on and gets his 10th win of the season and wins in Hungary again with another dominant performance as Verstappen continues his stranglehold on the championship. And Red Bull remains undefeated this season, as with this win, Red Bull is now 12-0 this season.
Yo, hey, yo, ho, super much, super much, yo, hey, yo, ho, super much, super much, yo, hey, yo, ho, super much, super much, yo, hey, yo, ho, super
So Verstappen wins, and that is now Verstappen's 6th win in a row. Like, Verstappen has flat out dominated this season. Like, it's crazy. Like, Verstappen might actually break his own record from last year at this rate. Now with 10 wins on the season, while Perez has only 2. And Red Bull goes 12-0, having now the longest winning streak in F1 history, breaking McLaren's old record from the 90s. So yeah, Red Bull's got that car dialed in. As Red Bull continues to dominate, and more fans continue to lose interest in the sport, man. Like it was very clear that F1 hit their peak in 2021. That was their climax. And it's gone downhill since then. But Verstappen also gets his 44th career win. Yeah, Verstappen's number of career wins now matches Lewis Hamilton's car number. And Verstappen joked around saying now he doesn't want to stay at 44 wins any longer and wants to get to 45 ASAP. We all know why he doesn't want to stay at 44 wins. Because 44 is Lewis Hamilton's car number. So Verstappen taking some sort of a small jab at Lewis Hamilton. While Hamilton would go on and have a disappointing run in round 4. Man, that's disappointing for the Woo-Woo Darfs. They got their hopes up over a fucking pole win. Only in the race for Verstappen and company to dick punch them right back to reality. And they got dick punched too by their old team in McLaren, Lewis's old team in McLaren. Mega oof. But yeah, Lewis fans, let this be a fucking lesson. Next time, don't count your chickens before they hatch and just wait to see if the pole translates to on-track performance in the race. But yeah, that's kind of pathetic that now you're pumping your chest over a pole win, considering how much success you've had in the past. It's sad to see you all get relegated to that now. Like, honestly, Woo-Woo fans, I expected a lot better out of you. But once again, like Lewis Hamilton in Hungary, you let me down. Again. But will you all learn anything from that? Nah, probably not, because most of them are fucking dumb shit elitists. And learning from their previous mistakes would require too many brain cells for the elitists to do. They're probably going to learn absolutely nothing and repeat this mistake again when Lewis gets another pole somewhere else. Let's say probably Belgium. Next week. But in the meantime, though, like the sands in the hourglass, so too are the days of our Mercedes. Man, F1 has fucking sucked ass this year. I don't know how the fuck they're doing this well in the ratings.